Okay, so I believe that we have started recording now. Wait a minute.
Yes, I see that.
You see the record button. Excellent.
Yes.
So, Dr. Anoop, thank you so very much for joining us. It does say your bandwidth is low, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to get good quality on this. So far, it's been really good in our chatting. And we have Lawrence with us. Lawrence is an architect in Toronto, and we're working on this to help all of our team that are working in clinical environments and so on, to help them have the best protocol. Dr. Anoop, you have developed the new spa protocol. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
See, what is happening is in the clinical practices right now, as we see, most people are using it on themselves and they're sharing with friends outside their friend circle, or meeting new people. They start sharing the product, and that's how it goes in the market, and they start sharing the results. What I realized is that recently, when we are in our offices, because we were not doing a lot of aesthetic practice in the practice itself. So product was always on the front desk, and people would just ask about it, and then we'll give it to them and so on. So what we try to do is to make it more interesting for them. We put all the products in a sequence in our front desk. And then what we did is we started a program called Get Your Face Fixed in 45 minutes. So fix your face in 45 minutes. What it does is, in the new spa protocol, you actually use exclusively the products that are from New Serenity. For making your skin really good and healthy, you basically need only three things: hydration, nourishment, and exfoliation. These are the three things that you actually need to give instant results to the skin. Now, when you look at our products, it has got all of them. It's just a matter of putting them into the right way in the right sequence. So let's take a scenario, straightforward scenario. If I tell a patient that you actually have to go for a meeting or a wedding or some kind of a seminar or conference, and then these people are the one they would like to see instant results on their skin, because it's all about getting instant results. And if they come in and then you do a gamma scan or a scan of the face, you will definitely find that there are areas that are damaged, there are areas that are oily, there are areas that are less porous, more porous, and so on and so on. And in Mexico, they're using the same cameras, and they're pretty relatively cheap. I mean, they're not expensive at all. Maybe like a $1,500 worth of gamma camera you can just find from anywhere. Doesn't have to be a specific brand. So if somebody comes to your office and you say, okay, would you like to actually have a free scan of your face? And they would ask you for what? You say, okay, we just want to see your skin quality, or if you would like to know how your skin is. And once they do that, then say, okay, how about we have a protocol, but you'll have to spend at least like 40, 45 minutes to get the results instantly. When we go to a makeup place or a cosmetic place or aesthetician, there is always a time that you actually spend there. You always go with at least 1 hour or 2 hours in hand when you get into that chair for your facial, your massage, and all of this stuff. But I'm talking about only 45 minutes here. So once they actually do the scan, you will know the areas, which areas are either oily or dry or porous or damaged or so on. Once it's done and you actually get them onto the chair, the aesthetic chair, and you say, these are the 6 products that we are looking at, and we are exclusively going to use just those. And then you start with cleaning the face. First, wipe it off with just normal soap water and clean it off. Or if you have like a wet towelette, you know, when you have the wet towel, just wipe the face off and then use the exfoliator. Once you use the exfoliator, you clean it up. So it will take you barely less than 5 minutes to do that. So you actually just spent 5 minutes right there. Once the exfoliator is done, then you can take the second product, which is going to be your moisturizer. Then you can apply the moisturizer, which is going to take another 5 minutes, and you let it dry. Once the moisturizer is done, then you can use the Skin Serenity mask right there, and you say, okay, I'm just going to leave this breathable barrier mask on your face for 30 minutes. and you just leave that mask on their face, apply it nice and gentle, and leave it there. Once it is done after 30 minutes, now in the meanwhile, what you need to do in 30 minutes, you can just put some music, some aroma in the office and stuff, and then even give them the elite to, well, because they don't have to be sleeping. They have this mask and just get the tea or get the elite to them to kind of start sipping it. And they feel better when you actually do that. After 30 minutes is done. So you're almost done with your 25 minutes there, 5 minutes there, and 5 minutes there. You're still left with 2 or 3 different products more. One of them is rejuvenating barrier. So once you actually take, now 30 minutes is not enough to kind of take the mask off so easily. It won't even be like, how would I say, it won't even be white by that time. So what you do is take a wet towel and put it on the face and then slowly scrape the mask off. It's not going to come into one piece. But once you take the mask off, what will happen is it will exfoliate, and it is also already being working as an antiseptic, taking away the microorganisms and cleaning away any extra oil which was stuck into your face. Once it's done, then you wipe the face again with a clean towel. Once it is done, then you use the either your rejuvenating barrier, because it's water-based. You've already done the moisturization. Now you're going to put a water-based solution. And then once it's done, then you take a very small drop of body cell, very small drop, and roll the eyes with the eye effect around the eyes and apply a very small amount of body cell. Once this is done, then you actually take this person back again onto the scanner, and you will see there is a significant effect on the skin, quality of the skin. It will drop back on the age scale for at least 5 to 10 years within these 45 minutes. Now what happens is, it's how you present things. Some people may want to use the moisturizer later on, and initially they would like to use the body silk under the mask. It totally depends upon if the skin of the person who's coming in, if it is too oily to begin with, then you want to use the body silk first and the moisturizer in the end. Now, when the scan is showing it is more dry, in that case, you use the moisturizer first and the body silk in the end. And the reason being is, whatever is showing on the scan, that is what you actually use in the beginning under the mask. If it is showing dry, then you use the moisturizer first, and if it is showing oily, then you use the body silk first. Reason being, any extra of the oil or the moisturizer will be taken off when you remove the mask, and that makes a big difference in these people, because if their skin is too oily, you want them to bring it towards the drier side so it becomes normal. But when it is on the dry side, you want it to come towards the oily side ultimately, so that the result of the scan is going to look much better. Essentially, that is the only change in the sequence. Otherwise, if you use this product in this sequence, people are going to see instant results. The biggest trick of this one is, you are using one set of product, let's say 5 of those products you're using very little of each for these patients, only for maximum like 45 minutes to an hour exactly, to be more precise. But when they walk out and when they see that their skin score has improved and the skin is showing a lot of improvement almost instantly in 45 minutes to 1 hour, they actually compound it in their head that this is going to be multiplying. But in real truth, what happens is, you're showing this result within 45 minutes. You're going to be using the Skincerity for almost 8 hours. It may not exponentially increase like 8 times, but definitely the same effect is going to be shown as amplified effect if you start using this regularly. And there is nothing better than the objective evidence of showing it. And plus, they'd even get a trial. So it is like giving somebody a product and trying to use the product and say, do you like it? And then when you can show an objective evidence right away, within 1 hour, when they walk out, they will probably buy the entire set of the product, because you are charging 40, let's say $45 to $50 for your hour for that product that you use. But when they actually walk out and you say, okay, I'm going to sell this all to you for 300 bucks, and this is going to be good for the whole month, they would probably take that rather than coming to your place every day or every week and spend $50 to get this program. Some people may say, okay, I'll come every week, and which is very good for aestheticians, because if they come in and they ask you, I want the new mask or new spa protocol, you're going to barely spend like less than $5 worth of product, and you're going to make, at least you charge them $50 minimum for that stuff. But then you're making a clientele which is going to be buying the entire system just like any other. There are many protocols, I will not take names for those, but there are people who are selling protocols by those names itself, and protocols do sell. It's just a matter of putting things into right perspective with objective evidence. You have got exfoliation, you have got hydration, and you have got nourishment. As long as you have got those three things together under the skin serenity mask and you apply it for 45 minutes, you'll start seeing almost immediate results. Now, these results are not going to be as great as if you actually do skin serenity for 8 hours or so, but definitely these are significantly good enough for them to actually be fit, skin looking good. And when they go out for a social meeting or a gathering, or they just want a facial rejuvenation, or they're just tired, haven't slept last night, they're smokers, bunch of other things can be actually dealt with this spa. So come tired, leave fresh. That is how you actually look at and you market it when people come in, just sitting. Sometimes I just give it to them for free also. Let's say, for example, we have a Zerona machine, and the patient is under the machine for almost like 40 minutes, 20 minutes front, 20 minutes back. So for me, it is very easy to actually just tell my staff to put this protocol on their face while they're under the machine. And when they're leaving for uh, after finishing the program and they actually see their face, they like it, and you can use it as an adjuvant to any other protocol that you are using. So technically, with a very small amount of inventory, you can hands-on start giving services, not just selling the product. I'm saying giving a service as a new spa protocol to anybody who come to your office, and then you can add on the sale of the product as a package, not as an individual. So that is how people should start looking into it. And the more you do it, the more people will get into it. And the protocol itself is very, very beneficial for the patients, for basically for your clients, and also for the people who are using it. You don't even have to be kind of like a distributor, but if you're using the protocol, you're simply taking the products, using on the patients, and then you ultimately want to sell all of them as a bulk, and people will buy it almost instantly without a second thought if you're able to show them the results instantly in 40 minutes. That's all it is.
That's wonderful, really wonderful. But I do have a couple of questions. Why
Sure.
why would you use body silk if your skin is oily? Is not body silk a combination of essential oils and so on?
It is. It is. See, what happens is if you saw the scan of the patient, okay, you saw the scan of the patient and it is slightly oily, and then you do, essential oils are important no matter what the oil that is coming from their face is different. It's not essential oils. It is doesn't have the antioxidant property. It may just be increased secretion of the, how do I say, increased sweat or sebum. Okay, that is what comes out from the fat that comes out from the skin. But when you apply it under the mask, it will homogenize it. And when you remove the skin serenity, it will take it all off anyways. But it will make an even surface for you to actually get the nourishment much better. You do not want to have the body silk in the end of these people. Because if you are using body silk in the end, then it will look more greasy on the skin. So you want it to use it. You do not want to omit anything outside the scope of the protocol, because then it will be very difficult for you to tell that, okay, you don't use this. If you start giving choices, it becomes complicated. Take this off or take that off. Then your protocol is not complete. Protocol is all about healing. Protocol is all about A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. You cannot take off A or B out of it. They're all there. You just can change the sequence for a particular issue. So if they are having oily skin, that does not necessarily means that that is a healthy kind of oil. It may be just increased production of oil. But for them, they can use this body. Once they buy the products and they're using it under the skin will actually, when you remove the sincerity mask, it will take off that extra oil with it. But if you put it on the top of the oily skin, it is going to look more oily. That's why it's better to have the body silk under the sincerity mask in the cases who are actually already having oily skin.
Very well. Another question, or
Mm-hmm.
to maintain something, when you are using the protocol on different clients and so on, it's still hygienic because of the medical grade acetone. Is that correct? You can use the bottle.
Exactly. See, that's why it's important to wash their face. How many people, I have rarely seen anybody in a family who's saying like, okay, you don't share the bottle. And people are sharing bottle. I share my bottle with my wife, my mom. So that's not a problem. As long as you know that there is no evident lesion or anything, it's all good because of the acetone inside. And plus you are actually cleaning the face prior to actually apply that. And that's why I was saying, wash the face with mild soap or alcohol-based swab, like, the towels. You can clean up the face with that first, and then you can roll on the sincerity. Because once you're rolling it in that setup, you know that you are doing it everything under hygienic scenarios.
Okay.
So that's a lot easy.
And another question that I had is that we have skincerity, which is there are 48 different skin conditions that are responding, scarring, burns, et cetera, and eczema, acne, psoriasis, all these types of things.
Mm-hmm.
We also have skincerity renew with the GGP in it,
Uh-huh.
and the triglycerides and so on, which is specific to anti-aging. In this new NU protocol that you have developed, what do you recommend, Skincerity or Skincerity Renew?
I would go for Skincerity because that's where Skincerity is designed to focus on more instant issues. Renew is basically to rejuvenate and stimulate your telomeres and work on that basis. So you will always use the Skincerity first because Renew is a little bit more oily. Renew has got, because of the triglycerides in there, it has got more oily base compared to regular Skincerity. If you want to see instant results on something, Skincerity is best. But if you are going to get somebody on a maintenance protocol, then Renew is much better of anybody more than 40. But the people who are going to come into your spa for that setup, they're usually the younger population, anybody who is 20 plus to 45 or so. They are working women, they are rushing out, they don't have much time to do things of their own, or some of them, they don't want to spend too much time buying the products and stuff. They say, you know what, I'm going to the church every Sunday. I would like to actually just come on the Sunday, or I would like to come on a Monday. They pick up one day to pamper themselves. They come down, they feel relaxed, they drink the tea, they drink Elite, and then they get their facial done at the same time. Basically, if you really look at that, it is a form of gentle facial with the products. You're not rubbing the faces and stuff, but exfoliation is the key to start with. That is another reason when you like to put the oil right away, because once you've done exfoliation and you apply the oil instantly, like the body cell, it's going to have much more better effect than just putting the body silk right away on the skin.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. So what I can see then is one of the things, okay, you're offering is to have a one session, and they can come back and have series of sessions and so on as often as they wish, the way you would go in for a massage or a pedicure or something like that.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
And then at the same time, if they want to be able to do maintenance on their own, you would sell them the protocol. Now,
Exactly. The whole thing.
if they're 40 and above, you would probably send them home with the Renew protocol.
Renew. Yes. I mean, it just honestly between Renew and Sincerity, I I always try to give them both. And I tell them, okay, you can use Sincerity one day, Renew the other day. That's all right. It's always better that way, because no matter what, you are 40 or 45 plus, skin issues are always there. And everybody has it. So if you apply Renew on the top of regular Sincerity, it is not going to be that advantageous,
No.
because you're just putting a mask over another mask. So in that scenario, if I have to give, the best option would be to give them, okay, here is Renew, one day you apply Renew, one day you apply Sincerity. Then the second option will be just Renew, and third option would be just Sincerity.
Very well. Now, if you have somebody coming in for acne, would you keep a separate bottle aside for people specifically?
Absolutely. You will ask them, you will always tell them, like, if somebody has acne, then you will not even have them do this protocol. This is designed for those who have apparently healthy skin, and not for them. Now, if somebody is with acne, 90% of these people would just buy Sincerity without even being worried about the, what do you call it? 10. Without even worried about the entire protocol. They'll just buy Sincerity. They don't even need the rest of the products if they have acne.
So really, they don't need to have something underneath to help lift off the, no, okay, very good.
No, if somebody has got acne at first place, they don't need anything else, because that's their first priority, and that should be addressed primarily.
Now, I was speaking to a woman who had severe rosacea, and she had an allergy to carrot, and she had adult acne, all combined. And she only knew about Sincerity at the time. There was not advanced exfoliator. And she said, had I had the advanced exfoliator, it would have accelerated my healing, I believe.
No, I want to see, the thing is, when somebody has rosacea, the less insult you do to the skin, the better it is. Okay, body silk, on contrary, body silk or moisturizer would be much better for them together with Sincerity, because such skin actually requires much more soothing, much more pampering. See, rosacea is nothing but small capillaries of your blood capillaries and increased vasculature under the skin. So when you rub it, you are further increasing the vasculature.
Is this the same for psoriasis as well?
See, psoriasis is more of the dry skin. Psoriasis is multiplication of the dead cells which are piling up on the skin, and has nothing to do with rosacea, not even remote. And you will not find psoriasis and rosacea on the same patient in the same area, because the mechanisms are totally exactly opposite.
And what would you
Rosacea is increased blood flow. Psoriasis is increased dead cells.
Okay, and so for psoriasis, for instance, would the advanced exfoliator be a good protocol, and then using?
It would be for psoriasis, exfoliator followed by body silk, and then if you want, you can still put moisturizer, and then Sincerity on top of it.
Very well. Now, what about if you're dealing with somebody with a burn, who's had a
burn?
Yes.
A burn.
Correct. They burn their skin.
Okay. It depends. As long as it's not broken or it's not fragile, body silk and moisturizer followed by Sincerity. But if it is still kind of burning and hurting, then don't use Sincerity on it, because it's not a good idea to actually rub something on an inflamed skin.
Why is that? For example, I had a fall, a very serious fall, And I had a lot of fractures and dislocated shoulder, fractured shoulder, dislocated chin. And I actually had a spot the size of a silver dollar on my wrist that was underneath the sling, and it still had asphalt. And when I took it, started stinging and so on. And I pulled back the sling, and I saw there was this round circle with, infection and so on. I rolled it right away, even though it was open, and it stung with the acetone stung it very much. But within 4 hours, the sting was gone, and literally I have no scarring. And the same thing with the back of my hands. I had gouges full of asphalt, and there's nothing.
So here's the thing. When Skincerity was designed, there were two products. Most people don't even know this. There was a product called Scarlight, and another one was Skincerity. And Scarlight was designed to actually take the scars off. Okay. The same way, if you actually can, it's all about the tolerance. You are able to tolerate that stinging, has nothing to do because it's not being absorbed anyways. You get that stinging feeling and that cold feeling because it tries to take the heat off your skin. That's why whenever you put alcohol on an abraded skin or acetone on abraded skin, instantly it will have that kind of feeling. But then overall, as soon as it dries off, it will still make that layer. If you can tolerate it well, then it works out. The outcome is very good. But let us say if there is somebody who has got a cut skin and then you roll it over it and the skin is very fragile in that case, and you're rolling the Skincerity on and then you take it off, you're trying to peel the top layer of the dead or that fragile skin. That's why I always tell everybody, it's not a real good idea. If it was a blister, for example, let us just put it this way. If it was a blister and the blister could have punctured and it was just a fragile skin or blister and you roll Skincerity on it, and when you take it off, the blister skin will go off along with it. But if it is, so what you're saying is, technically it was intact. It apparently was looking like that it was broken skin or injured skin. Injured skin is different than the broken skin.
Well, I actually had gouges, okay, where the skin was missing and so on. And I rolled that as well. And
as long as, but there was no skin. You see what I'm saying?
No skin.
There was no skin.
Yes.
So that's different.
Oh, you're talking, the reason is that when you put it on and you pull it off,
you'll displace, yes, you'll displace that loose skin that is on top of it. That's why.
What about if you just rolled layers of it? Like you didn't take it off?
But how long are you going to keep it together? See, again, it is supposed to be technically, what we talk about is in terms of legal medical terms is not to be applied on the broken skin. And that rule stands always. You can do whatever you want by your own choice and wishes, but the law, according to the policy, it should not be applied on the broken skin. That is what the thing is. And I'll stick to it. People can use it off label for whatever purpose they want to. It's their choice. But we don't want to be liable for any issues that we actually advise them to do that. So we need to be very careful.
Yes, I now understand as well about, the skin, fragile skin pulling away when you're trying to heal it.
And I'll give you an example. Let's say there was a case of bullous emphysema, kind of like epidermosa bullosa. So there is a loose skin, and people will try to roll it on. The skin is already loose. Even the roller will displace the skin and move it apart. So you don't want to touch that kind of skin, or somebody who has got a 3rd-degree burn. The skin is so loose that you touch it, it'll start moving like the cream on the milk. It's so loose. So you don't want to mess with that.
Okay, I have received a couple of instructions from myself. One thing that he said is that he needs a clinical protocol for doctors, which you have given us with the new skin protocol for the anti-aging. He also says, and secondly, products in the form of powder, such as Elite and the tea, we need them in a non-sugar of any type version. So the sucralose is causing some concern for the clinics, for the clinicians, and so on. Is
It's
there?
a no. It's just in the head. I would just say that we have tried combination of stevia and sucralose. We have done our own internal double-blind studies internally on subjective outcome of that. Most of people, when we put stevia and even xylitol, they didn't like it. It has an aftertaste into it. That's number one. Number two, when we actually try to use stevia, it becomes, you still have to find a, a source that is very, I would say, authentic, because stevia comes from all over the world, and nobody knows what is inside the stevia, because it's not like sucralose where you know the exact molecule. This is the exact molecule, and the outcome is going to be, let us put it this way. If you're going to go to a Mercedes and you'll come out of it, it's going to be Mercedes only. Okay, the showroom of Mercedes only going to Mercedes, is not going to make a Toyota, correct? With the stevia, the problem is different plants, different species have different chemical structure and so on. So all the stevia is not the same. And that is why when you look at the FDA research and issues with the stevia, there are more than 340 warning letters issued about the stevia itself because of the non-consistency, since it is coming from a plant. Everything that is coming from different plant species is not the same. What do you get from China? What do you get from Brazil? What do you get from United States? They all are stevia plants, but the outcome and the alkaloid that come out of that stevia plant may not be exactly the same, depending upon the pesticides being, depending upon the infections be there, depending upon 100,000 ways of purifications that are being used. So to standardize stevia is almost impossible at this point, and people are doing it, but it's kind of hard. And that's why when you come to sucralose, it is standardized, it is coming from GMP manufacturing companies, and you know exactly what is coming out and what is in there, and it could be titrated and calculated. Plus, it is the only product that has got maximum FDA approvals and the safety study. Even stevia doesn't have much a safety study at this point. We try to take off, to answer your question, we try to take off the, yes, but it's impossible because of the Indian gooseberry in there. It is so bitter that if you put it into your mouth, it'll be like non-palatable. So we have to put two things into it. One is the dextrin, and the other one is
what is the dextrin doing?
It is basically making it palatable. See, astaxanthin itself and the powder form of it, it will otherwise stick to your throat and it won't go down.
I use astaxanthin with no sweetener. But you see,
yeah, but the product, when you actually have, if we actually take both of them out of it, it will not be palatable. It will not go down your throat easily. Especially the biggest culprit is the Indian gooseberry.
And what is the advantage of the Indian gooseberry?
It's a very good source of vitamin C. It does actually affect your collagen formation under the skin. And that is one of the biggest things. It's the richest source of vitamin C right now.
Okay. So what some people would like is to have no sweetener in it, and then they can add their own.
It's just going to add another extra step for them. First of all, it will be not palatable at all. So it doesn't serve the purpose. Plus, how much sweetener are you going to add on to it? I wish we could do that. But then again, it's a question of discussion with the corporate, and if they can actually come out and make a decision on that one. But yeah, I can guarantee you the taste would not be good enough for them to be palatable.
Okay, very well. And I appreciate that. And this recording, of course, is going to be, Marcel is going to be able to listen to this and understand more about it. And I will certainly put the two of you in touch so that, if he has any more questions and so on, that you can talk with him and so on for his clinics and so on. Really appreciate your time. Is there anything else? When he's talking about protocols for doctors and so on, we've talked about the anti-aging protocol. We've basically touched on some of the skin conditions. Is there anything else that you can think of?
See, it should not be actually promoted for the skin conditions per se itself. As long as you have the videos of befores and afters rolling into their clinics, this is what my suggestion would be. Get as many befores and afters you can get. Put them all into a video format and give that to the doctors before you even talk to them. Okay. And keep these two things totally separate. The new spa program is basically more for driving the sales and like selling the protocols. It is also important for aestheticians to actually add an extra value to the programs they already offer. It can be as a conjoint. Like, for example, somebody's coming for a haircut or a nail clipping or whatever stuff they need to do. It could be an add-on to those services. The doctors who are doing lipos or any procedure and services, if a patient is going to be in your office for 40 minutes or more, then you should do it. And then they automatically become your client. So it's a total different approach than the medical approach where patients start seeing the results on their skin ailments. Now, we never promote it for a skin ailment. Like, we never say it's for acne. We never say it's for rosacea. We never say it is for some kind of a skin dermatitis or whatever, because that's not what it is. When you are using it based upon the outcome of all the befores and afters and people using it globally, then they can use it for that. But if they say, okay, it's good for your acne, then that's not acceptable. They have to say, it's going to make your skin healthier. And then that may help you to get rid of these acne. But if you say, okay, it's going to take care of your acne, that is not in the protocols. So we need to kind of like stay away from making any claim which could be taken as a medical claim, and it could be against the current understanding, and people will start actually using it for all of that stuff.
I understand how important it is to protect nucerity and so on, and not to make any false medical claims or not to make any medical claims, even though we do have
exactly
results. So I think that idea is wonderful. I have one more very detailed question that has come from another clinician who is in the process of asking to learn more and so on. Her fear is with the sucralose again, but also another thing that she wanted to know was if the dextrin is from non-GMO sources.
It's 100% non-GMO.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
100%. We have certifications for that, and then we will never put anything that is not up to the standards.
I have found that as well. I went through every single ingredient of every single product because I am a medical researcher and journalist, and I did not find any one ingredient that was on my high alert list of chemicals, cosmetic chemicals to avoid. And it was
really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was very interesting because the Renew, with having no scent in it at all, and the two ingredients, the triglyceride and the ganglion isopropanol, both of those are very, very low on the scale of cosmetic chemicals to avoid. It's like they're like aloe. You know what I mean? They're like a 1 or a 0. 1, I guess. They can't have a 0. But, they were very low. So these are very safe for sensitive skin.
And that was the purpose of actually having Renew is for sensitive skin itself. And we're trying to get the results out of it. Still, I will always say if somebody wants to use Renew, use Skin Sanity together with that. Just use it one and the other day. So instead of just having Skin Sanity alone, just use it one and the other together, like alternate days.
A protocol for somebody with sensitive skin that wants anti-aging that's about 45, they would use one night Sincerity, one night, renew. Very
Renew.
well.
There is no reason for you to use both on the same day.
No, I understand that they would defeat the purpose because the other one mask couldn't go through the other mask. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, thank
And I
you.
appreciate your time too, putting this together.
Oh my goodness, you have no idea how much you are appreciated. This is a invaluable information for the team. It's really, really, really appreciated. And I hope that you continue to enjoy the festivals that you've been having in your town and your family. This is a special time for you, although I know tomorrow you leave again for your whirlwind tour of lectures and anti-aging.
Oh, thank you so much.
On. You're a very busy man and a very humble man. And
No, thank you.
you're
And
extremely.
I will always call you Allison Hayden.
Very good. Well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, and call me anytime.
I appreciate it, and I will.
Thank you.